All right, so now that you have your chosen side, what we're going to do is start our next steps. Excuse me. So now what I would like you to use is the magic wand tool, which is this one that in your toolbar that looks like an actual magic wand. Kind of looks like Harry Potter's wand. So go ahead and single click your magic wand tool. I would like you to click in the empty space, so not on your picture in the checkerboard area. Single click, and now you should see these, what I like to call dancing ants around the outside. Okay? What that means is that you've selected this whole area, so the area that is all the gray and white boxes. Now we are going to select the inverse of that area. So we're going to come to the select drop-down menu, choose inverse, and now our triangle is the only thing that is selected. Okay? Once you've done that, I want you to choose the image drop-down menu again, choose image, and then choose crop. Image, and then crop. So now you should have something that looks like this. All right, so once you've done that, I want you to do Control D, which makes your dancing ants go away. That is the shortcut for deselect. Okay? So now our next step is to duplicate the image layer in the layers palette. So what I want you to do is make sure that you've single clicked your layer 0, come up to the top right corner of your layers palette, choose duplicate layer. Don't worry, we don't need to rename it. We'll leave it layer 0 copy, and then click OK. So now in your layers palette, you should have 2 layers, one layer 0 and one called layer 0 copy. Okay? Our next step is to choose the image drop-down menu, and we're going to change our canvas size. All right, so the reason we want to do this is so that way when we start cutting out more and more pieces and rotating it, it all fits together like a nice puzzle. Because all of you have different size pictures, so we're all kind of starting from a different spot. All right? So this is really important to hit all of these steps, so pay attention. Our width is going to be 21 inches. Our height is going to be 14 inches. Check off relative. Choose the top center anchor, okay? And then click OK. So you should have had something change just like this, okay? Once you've done this, go ahead and give me a Control S, which is going to do a quick save on your Photoshop file. We have to make sure that we remember to save all the time, otherwise we could lose our work if the computers crash. So now we're going to do a little something else. What we're going to do is make sure our snap to is turned on. Now what that does is it gets all your stuff snapping to measurements and to different parts of your canvas or your artboard. So it takes the thinking out of it, if you will. So we're going to choose our Move tool again. Choose Move. And then we're going to come to the View drop-down menu. Make sure Snap is checked off, and then if it isn't, click it, make sure there's a check there, and then you also want to make sure in Snap to that all is grayed out. You want to make sure all of these things are checked, and if they're not, just click all. Okay, so mine's all set. Now our next step is to open up some rulers. Now you notice along the top part and the left side of my window, it looks like there's a ruler. Now to pull a ruler out, it looks like a little blue line. You just want to click and hold your mouse on the ruler and drag out while you're still holding your mouse click down, and it'll get this light blue line there. Now we want to move this ruler, the one that we pulled from the top down, we want to put that at 7 inches. So match it up with along the left-hand side. Then we're going to pull a ruler out of the left-hand side, and we're going to match that up with 10.5 inches along the top side. Okay? Now, we're going to make sure we're still clicked on the Move tool, which we are. What I would like you to do is move, click layer 0, and drag the layer to meet up at the vertical line. Do the same thing with layer 0 copy. Now, if you notice, layer 0 copy is the same, facing the same way. We need this side and this side of the layers to essentially kiss each other, okay? So what we need to do is flip your triangles. So we're going to flip the layer 0 copy. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to Edit, Transform, Flip vertical, or excuse me, flip horizontal. And that should flip it right in there for you. Now, it's really important to zoom in and make sure there's no space between your shapes. And it looks like we need to scooch this one over a little bit. So you can just zoom in and then use your up and down arrow keys to scooch. All right, so now at this point, I want you to do a file save. And then we'll move on to the next step.